The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, after reviewing information from the Inspector General, said that the FBI, and this was during the time you were the director, inappropriately submitted these FISA applications to the court. Talk to us a little bit about that. You're the director of the FBI. Clearly, you're the one who signs the FISA application in or review it.
In this particular FISA application that related to one individual among the 4 that we were investigating, there were significant omissions and mistakes. And it's very bad for the reasons that the judge said. There's a heightened duty of candor and accuracy when there's not somebody on the other side who's going to be challenging and litigating against it. And so the most important question is, how did that happen? And it turns out that at the lowest level in the investigation, the Inspector General said the case agent in particular was making judgments about what to include and not include. Mm-hmm. And that meant if he didn't include a fact that was bad for the government, nobody saw it all the way up to the top. And so all the layers of review made no difference. And so I think the Inspector General and the director now are doing exactly the right thing. Let's find out if it's a broader problem, because if it's a broader problem, that would drive a solution very different than if it's a problem just with this case. And you might say, well, how could it be one and not the other? Well, in an effort to keep both the Clinton case confidential and the Russia investigation confidential, we kept them close and had them staffed at a headquarters, which is unusual for the FBI. So it's possible that there's something about the deployment on this case that created an environment that was inconsistent with what we want. But if it's more broad than that, then everybody with oversight responsibility in Congress and in the executive branch need to ask, so how could we make it better so we don't have problems like this?
If I asked you to give your best hypothetical guess on the polling on Americans' trust in the FBI, what would you hypothesize that is?
Again, I don't know the data, but I would guess that it is higher than many other institutions in American life, but it's lower than it was 3 years ago for 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. First, decisions that I made hurt the FBI, and that's important. It's just, I still believe, I can't wake from this nightmare, but I still believe if I'd chosen the other door, I would have hurt the FBI worse. But there's no doubt, I knew we were spending the FBI's credibility. Forget me, I knew it was bad for the FBI. Second, the President of the United States has lied about the FBI for 2 years. And a healthy part of democracy is that citizens believe when the president says something. And so millions of people believe it when the president lies about the FBI. And that's really bad, but it has a real effect. And so I don't know the numbers, but I would guess the numbers, confidence has declined, although it's still more trusted than other parts of our government. The tragedy of this era of ours would be that talented young people step away and our government is hollowed out because we don't have quality people participating. We need you. I think I'm pushing on an open door. Please participate. Yeah, okay, Boomer, we screwed it up. Fix it for us. Participate in the life of this country. Make it better, because you can. Secretary Clinton said in her book that I shivved her. That was painful for me. I've never met Secretary Clinton, but I wasn't trying to help her or hurt her. One of my very best people is a woman named Tricia Anderson, who was the Deputy General Counsel. As we were wrestling with what the right thing to do, which door is the one to choose on October 28th, she said, should you consider that what you're about to do may help elect Donald Trump President of the United States? And I said, thank you for asking that question. No, not for a moment, because that would be the end of the FBI as an independent force. If I start asking whose political fortunes will be affected in what way, we're done. We're done. We're not this separate thing. I have to lift my eyes and ask, given our values, our traditions, our practices, what's the right thing to do? And I can't consider who will be affected in what way. And that's the way we made that decision. And so I hope, I'm not pitching my book, I don't care if you read my book, but I hope she's had a chance to at least read that or read something else that summarizes just what we faced on October the 28th.
What advice do you have for trying to continue to prioritize integrity and truth over partisanship?
That's a great question. Thank you.
Know that you will die someday. And what I mean by that is, you will sit at the end of your life someday, and you will, God willing, have, if you want a family, have children, grandchildren around you, and you will explain yourself to them. And even if you don't even have a family, you will explain yourself to yourself. And that perspective, I would hope, would help everybody. I knew I was totally screwed in making the decisions on October the 28th. I'm really proud of the way we made the decisions. Even if you think that you would have made a different decision, I'm really proud of the way we conducted ourselves. Personally, it was disastrous. For me, a lot of people don't like me. Okay. But at the end of my life, I'm going to tell my grandchildren, maybe my great-grandchildren, here's what I did and why, and I'm really comfortable with that. And so floating in time and looking back on hard decisions you're being asked to make, out of the storm, out of the media coverage, will help you make better decisions. And I'm disgusted by a lot of what I see in public life today, by people making a decision like, I know what the president's doing is wrong, but I don't want to say it because it will hurt me in the short run. How are you going to explain that to your grandchildren? How are you going to explain that to yourself at the end of your life? I don't know. And I wish they would embrace a little bit more of that perspective and stand up and do the right thing.